The Edgar Berlanga KO streak was nothing short of electric. It takes a special kind of fighter to start their career with 16 straight knockouts. It takes an even better type of fighter to start a career with 16 knockouts, with none of them going past the first round, no matter if they're fighting contenders or club fighters. The boxing world was put on notice as this young Puerto Rican 168-pounder was tearing through guys like it was nothing.
There's a big right hand, and he's got his man hurt. Samir Barbosa is wobbly here early on, and it's over exactly as we expected.
Fast forward to Saturday, June 24th, Edgar Berlanga fought for the first time in a year. After parting ways with Top Rank, Edgar moved on to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. As usual, the crowd at the Madison Square Garden Theater was there for him. They all wanted to see if he could break his 5-fight KO-less streak and get back to that huge power that they saw in his first 16 fights. And they had the perfect opponent for it. Jason Quigley was a very good amateur who was an up-and-coming prospect before defensive issues derailed a once promising career. This was Edgar's perfect chance to get back on track and regain the support of the boxing community. And unfortunately, Edgar underwhelmed. He did drop Quigley 4 times, once in the 3rd on a chopping right hand, again in the 5th on a controversial call that looked more like a slip than a knockdown, and then a huge 12th round where he nearly got Quigley out of there.
Is he going to get it done? Good. That was a knockdown. A big power punch lands for Berlanga, and that could basically seal the deal.
But alas, he didn't, and once again, it went to the judges. Following the fight, Berlanga gave himself a C rating, which everyone pretty much agreed with.
What did you think of your performance?
I give it a C. I'm just grateful, and I want to thank my Lord and Savior for being here, man, being healthy. It's a year layoff off a bicep injury.
But when you take a step back for a moment, Edgar's pretty much been saying that about his last few fights. I give it a C. There was ring rust. The opponent was only there to survive. These are all excuses that he keeps giving, and people are pretty tired of it. If he knows that he's underwhelming, why doesn't he get better? The problem with Edgar Berlanga isn't his mouth, or how much trash he talks. That's just boxing. He's a brand, and he has to market himself.
We just looking for fireworks, man. That's all, I've been prepping very well for him. He's a great fighter. Much respect to him and his team, but we got to handle business this weekend.
The problem is that he has made no effort to change who he is as a fighter. Edgar is not a scary fighter like a Mike Tyson or Deontay Wilder. He is instead an aggressive fighter. And that's not such a bad thing. He's very good at making his opponents weary of him and is dangerous when guys try to overpower him. However, that style really isn't that hard to beat. In fact, if a guy has good stamina and is technically sound, it's actually pretty easy. Edgar's main issue is that he is a follower. That's not the same thing as a stalker. A stalker is like a prime Tyson. He stalks his opponents, cuts off the ring, and lets his hands go. Edgar, on the other hand, is a follower. He follows his opponents around and around the ring. Unfortunately, he doesn't throw enough, and therefore guys can easily flick a jab or a 1-2 out there and land without any response. If you really pay attention to his last few fights, you'll see that his opponents aren't just there to survive. Yes, they are moving around a lot, but why not? He just follows them around and doesn't throw that much. In his last fight, Quigley would either get to the ropes or be in the corner at least 10 times per round, and Edgar made no consistent attempt to try to attack him there. The infuriating part is that when he did pounce on Quigley when on the ropes or in the corner, it worked. He was able to catch Quigley and rattle him, but it just didn't happen enough. And you can't blame his corner for that. Usually, I'm one who believes that a fighter's flaws come down to their training, but not this time. Every single round, his corner was telling him to be more active and try to cut the ring off, but he just did not listen. Just very angering. Defensively, he wasn't great either. Quigley was landing pretty consistently on Edgar throughout the fight.
Berlanga believes
that Quigley is going to take a page. Go ahead, Doug.
I was going to say, Quigley coming out hot here, Sergio.
Yeah, I like what he's doing. He's punching in between the shots of Berlanga's punches. I love that. That's something.
The scorecards were questionable, as always, but I had Edgar winning 6 rounds and taking it 114-110. I thought he lost rounds 3 and 5 without the knockdown, so if you excuse the controversial one in the 5th, that makes it 113-111. That's a very close scorecard, and one in which it only came down to Quigley being poor defensively. For the second time in Edgar's career, we saw a guy punch with Berlanga. Marcelo Coceres did it back in 2021 and actually dropped Berlanga.
Exactly what hurt Berlanga on the canvas. Just counter right and a delayed reaction, and then he has the presence of mind to say, oh, come on.
Quigley realized early that Edgar wasn't throwing enough and actually won a fair amount of exchanges. Edgar has a better chin, which caused the knockdowns, but put him in there with a harder puncher, and he's in trouble. Edgar called out the big names, and there were immediately calls for him to fight Jaime Munguia.
To that long out of the ring, so Gennady Golovkin, Jaime Munguia, John Ryder, Billy Joe Saunders, these are the fights this guy's going to be in.
That's an interesting fight, but I'd have to take Jaime. Unless something changes with Edgar's mentality, I think he's in serious trouble. He needs to be more active with his punches and cut the ring off more. If he does that, he does have the natural power to get guys out of there, but that remains to be seen. Is he a bust yet? No, he's not. He is just going through a difficult time, but he will become a bust if he doesn't fix his style or listen to his corner. Personally, I just want him to go back to his old style. That first round KO streak was awesome. It was great for boxing. He was punching a lot, cutting off the ring, and doing everything else that an aggressive fighter should do. I think that Damon Nicholson fight really changed him. For the first time in his career, and probably his life, someone stood up to him, and I think it rattled him. He wasn't used to a guy who had a strategy to move around instead of just survive. I hope that he gets back to it, because if he does, he'll be a massive player in the 168-pound division. Anyways, everyone, thanks for watching, as always. I'm sorry about my inactivity. I've just been doing a lot of work in school. This channel is growing a lot, which I absolutely love to see, and your kind words and comments mean everything. Let's see if we can get this channel more popular than it is, and let me know if there's something you want to see from me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Zeke's Box Talk.